Welcome back to part 2 of the conversation that we were talking about last episode on the 61% podcast. My name is Mario.
And I am Jorde.
And we're just going to jump right back into it. So Jorde, how can someone move, say we got a person who 61% of the time, they're busy, they are overwhelmed, overrun by all of the activities other than stuff going on at the church, and they just cannot engage.
Yeah.
Not only in the local church, but even spiritually.
Yeah.
Like they are kind of in that space that I talked about, where it's like, man, when do I have the time to devote time to Jesus that is genuine, not passive time?
Yeah.
How can someone like that move from that realm of 61% disengagement to starting to move their way into engaging in their spiritual life and local church and things like that?
Yeah. I think I really like, I've recently become a New Year's resolution guy.
Okay.
I never was.
I kind of am
about 4
I'm
years
getting
ago.
there.
About 4 years ago, I started setting one every year. And I've learned through that process to just tell a quick story. And then, so my first year, the first time I did it, it's like, I want to read more. And so I set a goal of reading 12 books that year.
Whew, okay.
Yeah, big goal. I read 2.5.
Nice. You did some.
It was 2.5 more books than I read the year before.
You did some.
So that was great.
Oh, yeah.
But so then I realized, okay, 12 books is crazy. Second year, I'm going to read 6 books this year.
Yeah.
And that year I read 9.
Nice.
And so part of what I realized was like, I set a goal that was not attainable for me. Or I maybe like I could read 12 books this year. I think.
But at the time,
like I didn't have a rhythm. I didn't I was still learning to enjoy it.
Yes.
Yes. And so I think if you are trying to go from unengaged to engaged, and you are like, well, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to pray for an hour every day. that's not going to
set
last,
yourself up,
right?
Yeah, it's a real struggle. Yeah.
And I would encourage people to do, like take a prayer walk, like do a prayer walk.
Yeah.
Practice praying for longer periods of time. But don't set a goal that is so far out there. Yeah. Like I mean, again, we're trying to go from 39 to 40%, right? Were you weren't at Men's Retreat this year, right?
Not this year. No, not this year.
Dr. John Stumbo spoke this year, and just always my favorite when he speaks. Yeah. But the first thing he said Friday night when we got there was, where you are right now is less important than the trajectory you're on when you leave. Nice. And so, and that can be true in both cases. If you are at a 10, but you're declining. Yeah. The trajectory. Or if you're at a 2,
but you're getting up
but
there.
You're inclining, right? Yeah. Like being at a 2 but inclining is better for you, right? And even if, like, if you're at just a 1% increase, that's still an increase. Yeah, you keep that 1% going. Yeah. Like, and this consistency is good. That's like, okay, I can only do 1% right now in terms of prayer. I only got 10 minutes. Yeah. I got 10 minutes before things start moving and going. Yeah. Dedicate that 10 minutes. Yeah. 1% incline. You do that for a year. You're gonna find God can do crazy things in 10 minutes. Yeah. In a devoted 10 minutes of time. Yeah. And I think we kind of don't give God the space to be able to work in the powerful ways that he can. Yeah. Because we think like, oh, like God is asking me for an hour and a half and I don't have that. Yeah. And it's like, no, he's asking for your heart. Right. And so it's like, if you could give him your whole heart in 10 minutes, go for it. Yeah. And I think the same can be said of like, if you're, trying to get back into reading scripture,
Exactly. Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
maybe even setting a goal of reading the Bible in a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
It is.
It's really hard.
It's hard to stay on that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like maybe read the New Testament this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
a little bit more attainable as you're starting.
Yeah.
Right. Or,
Yep.
read a psalm every day or whatever, like
Yeah.
something that you can
Yeah.
confidently accomplish.
Or even like, Pastor Kyle at, lead pastor at our church, he does this thing where he listens to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So he may not have time to sit there and like dive into all the study that he wants,
Yeah.
but he's able to listen to it while doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like you mentioned, go on a prayer walk. I think one of the things in terms of prayer that really stops people is like, well, I can't just sit down for 10 minutes or an hour or 30 minutes. Pray while cooking.
Yeah.
Pray while making the kids' lunches.
Yeah.
That is time that you could still devote your heart to
Yeah.
while doing a task, and especially with walking. I mean, you're out in creation.
Mm-hmm.
You got nothing but that time
Yeah.
that you're on a walk to pray, to talk to Jesus.
And I think it's important to just look at your day and look at
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
like we have basically the same job,
Yeah.
but our day-to-days are so different.
Very different.
Still.
Yeah.
And we both have toddlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You have multiple
like, we have
toddlers.
so many things that are the same, but it's still like our daily schedules are so different.
Yeah.
And so it's important to look at like what flexibility do you have in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Like what moments in the day can you use?
Yeah.
I led a fellowship of Christian athletes. I led an FCA Bible study at Moorhead High School when I was
Gotcha.
teaching and coaching there.
Mm-hmm.
And this study, FCA put it out and we were doing it. And one of the questions that was asked in the study was, what would be different if our school district all of a sudden fired our athletic director and hired Jesus? How would our sports look different?
Wow.
And like the first answer, and no one even spoke after this. They're like, oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
The first answer was, I don't think we'd practice as much as we do.
Ah, man. Yeah. That's kids need that.
Yeah. But so then we talked about that a little bit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came to the realization or came to the point that like,
Yeah.
okay, but Jesus is not our athletic director. And we're not going to quit our sports. We're not going to quit our activities because like we are a light
Yes.
in these activities.
Yeah.
And so how can we take the time that we have? How can we take that when we can't be at youth group because we have to be in the weight room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but how can we take that weight room time
Yeah.
and make that
And use
glorifying to God?
Yeah.
Or how can we take those bus trips?
Yep.
Or how can we take, whatever this is
Yeah.
in our daily schedule, how can we take that time and flip it to be holy?
Yeah.
And holy meaning like, how can we set this part of time for God?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. It's like having a strategic approach
Yeah.
to your spiritual growth in your life. I think strategic is kind of a, it's like, okay, I gotta figure this out. It's not gonna just come to me. Like I gotta find the way, and so
Yeah.
I think that's very helpful. I think that's helpful for people, especially kids that are going crazy with sports. And it's like, yeah, maybe it would be really good to not practice as much, but that's not in the kid's control. That's in
right.
the coach's control and all that other stuff. But it's just so important. It's just important to be strategic. And cool. Yeah. I think like one thing that I think this is why it's good to be in a local church. Like how you said, like, hey, even if you can't totally engage, go. like maybe you're not feeling the words, or you're not feeling like you belong there yet, you know, in a church service or something, still go.
Yeah.
But like the thing that I thought of like is like find someone to disciple you.
Yeah.
Like maybe you just need to learn
Mm-hmm.
how to create the rhythm.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, and I don't know, I guess it's different for some, you know, people who grow up in the church, people who come to Jesus and later on in life and figure things out. But either way, in both camps, sometimes people are kind of just left trying to figure it out. Like they hear the pastor say, hey, you need a prayer life, and hey, read the Bible more, and hey, do this. And they may even hear us say, hey, be strategic and all these things. And it's like, but if you don't know how to do it, then you don't know how.
Right. Yeah.
And some of the frustration comes from trying to figure it out and not being able to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, find someone who can disciple you and mentor you and say, hey, look, this is what I do. Hey, come join me.
Yeah.
You know, my family prays at 6 p.m. after dinner. Come. Come, let's pray, and maybe you could start there.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
Right.
But you won't find that person unless you're in the community, as you were saying, which is, I think, really important.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to learn these things, we have to learn them from people who are doing it well. And those people are most likely engaging in some form or fashion in the local church or in proximity to it.
Yeah.
And so we got to get in that proximity, find that person. And then that's also a reason for people to be very serious about being a disciple maker. Like making sure people know that they can come to you if they need help.
Yeah.
If they need, you know, not leaving it up to the pastor to try to, you know, or just assuming that the pastor will do it.
Yeah. Right.
But for you yourself, like, hey, I'm a disciple maker. If someone needs help creating a rhythm, I'm totally for it. Yeah. You know, so that was one thought I had of maybe we just need to learn.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to learn.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we talked about what does it look like for someone to move from the 61% disengagement to 39%. But like, what does it look like, and what do we say to someone what is our biblical response to someone who finds themselves moving from that engagement to like disengagement? They are suddenly finding themselves in that 61% of disengagement.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be like, yeah, what do we say to someone? How do we respond to that? And how does a person who is in that respond to that when they kind of see that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the first thing that I think of when I think of two stories in the Old Testament, and it all points back to the importance of community again.
Yeah.
So many things point back to the importance of community for me.
Yep.
But the two stories that I think of often are both with King David. The first with Bathsheba.
Yep.
And the second with, or when he took a census.
Yes.
And so in both cases, if you're not familiar with the story of David and Bathsheba, maybe we'll talk about that more in depth on another episode. But basically, he like lusts over a woman. He calls to have her brought to him. He sleeps with her. They become pregnant. And it just unravels. It's just this crazy story. But the point that I come to in that often is, I believe it's Nathan in that story, comes to him and says, like, hey, you are wrong. Like, what you are doing is going against God. And he points him back to the grace and mercy of God.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with the story of the census. And the story of David taking the census is it's harder for us to understand why that's such a big deal.
Why was that a wrong thing kind of thing?
But so it's like he was trying to put his faith in the size of his army. He wanted to know how many men he had.
Yeah.
Rather than trusting his God, right? And so God was unhappy with that. And again, in this case, I believe it was Gad. And I might have Nathan and Gad
No, I don't
flipped in
think
the
I
stories,
think,
but
I think
I think
it's
it's
good. Yeah.
Gad in this story. But again, there's one of his trusted friends points him back to the grace and mercy of God.
That's good.
And so I think it's really important again that we find that community, and then like that we give people permission to say, hey, if I'm doing something, call me on it.
Yeah.
If something in my life does not point to this, I give you permission to correct that in me.
Yeah. I think the community aspect is very important because in both of those cases, David had people close enough to notice when something was off.
Yeah.
You know, Nathan, of course, he was the prophet, so they worked very closely with the king.
Yeah.
Gad was a friend. And, you know what I mean? So it's like being in a community where people notice when you're not as engaged in your personal spiritual life. And they have permission that you've given them to call you out and at least ask questions like, hey, what's going on? You know, I don't see you engaging as much, and I'm not hearing from you. You know, I'm not. You know, things like that. So I think that's highly important. Yeah, those are great examples from David. Yeah, I think an example that came to my mind was I just went through the book of Revelation with some guys. It was amazing, man. It was like the best time I've been in Revelation. But, you know, in chapter 2, Jesus, first 3 chapters, Jesus is kind of given like some verbal affirmations, but also correction to some churches in the area. And in chapter 2, he hits on the church of Ephesus. And, you know, he gives them these affirmations of like, listen, like, I know your work. I know your diligence. I know that you don't tolerate false teaching, that you are bearing my name under persecution, all these great things. Yeah. But then he says, but I just have one thing against you. You have forgotten the love that you had at first. Yeah. And I think it's a good picture of like, you can be doing all the things and still not connected in the love that you had at first. Yeah. And so what does he tell them to do in response to that? So there are 3 things that he mentions. He says, you have abandoned, so he tells them you have abandoned your love at first. So he's like being the person, he's being the Nathan, he's being the Gad, and letting them know like, hey, something's off here. And I'm going to call it out in love so that you see it and you recognize it. And then he says, remember how far you have fallen and repent. And I heard someone talk about this, Bill Kuhn from, dude, it was amazing. And it was just, you know, he talked about like marriage, and he talked about like, you know, he just used an example of this passage of like, you know, when you're dating, you do everything to, you know, make sure your girlfriend knows you love her, and you flood her with gifts, and you make sure to say goodnight, and you make sure to check in, and all these things that you're doing to like grow that relationship. And then you're married for a while and things get busy or comfortable and you just stop doing those things. And you could be doing a lot of other great things, but you could be also disconnected in some way in terms of like the closeness and the love. And so he just mentioned like, so what do you do to fix that? You do the things you did at first. You start going on dates again, and you start making sure that you check in, and you do these things that it kind of just puts you in a place where, you know, you are back in that engagement again. And I think it was just such a great example of this passage of what Jesus is trying to say. Is like, hey, pray in the same way that you prayed before. Like, make that time again before. You've done it before. You know, do the things you did at first.
Yeah.
And I think that for someone experiencing themselves like being pulled into disengagement, it's a great word for that. But also like something we could also use to encourage our brothers and sisters that we find in that place. Like, this is what I can tell them. This is something I can point to, you know, kind of thing. So
yeah, and I think along those same lines, you know, if you find that you're in that place of your engagement is slipping, like not only look at like going back to doing the things that you first did, also consider the things that you're now doing that are getting in the way.
ooh,
that's good. And encourage that personally, and then encourage those around you too. Like if it's someone you see or if it's yourself, like, like what thing is preventing you now? Yeah. What is it getting in the way? And it's not always things you can cut out. Like you mentioned earlier, like having a son change things. Yeah. Like we have to continue parenting, you know, so we can't just cut that out. Yeah. But then, so we add something good like parenting. That might mean we have to cut out something.
Something else that's less important.
Less important, not necessarily bad.
Yeah, not bad, or it could be like I've heard people say, cut out the noise. Yeah. Like another loud thing that might be okay and fine and was okay at a particular time, but right now you don't need it. And it create gap and flexibility to be able to do those things that to be engaged or re-engaged. So I guess closing thoughts on like for people who are in that 39%, like I do feel engaged, you know, how to like, what can we say to encourage them to like spur on, to not give up, to keep engaging. Since most of the first episode was talking about how can we encourage the 61% to engagement, how can we encourage the 39% to keep on, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think I'm going to go back to that point that I had made earlier from John Stumbo of like worry less about where you are now and more about the trajectory that you're on. You know, where are you going? And what practices do you have in your life that are impacting where you're going?
Keeping that incline.
And then I think the follow up to that would be, you know, if you're watching this and you're a member of either of our churches, come talk to us. You know,
definitely.
Just let us know
for sure.
This is something you're processing, you feel convicted in something. If you're at a different church, like your pastor wants to hear this.
Yes.
Or at least a mentor in your church.
Yeah. Someone
in your church wants to hear this from you. Yeah. So don't be shy. Don't be nervous to just say, hey, I'm trying to become more engaged in my faith. Yeah. What tips do you have?
Man, I can't imagine a single pastor that'd be like, man, that's annoying. Don't say that.
Cut that out.
Don't ever come to me and tell me that again. It's like, no, that's amazing. Can you like share that from the front? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and even as I say that, I'm feeling convicted of like, I need to just ask that guy to mentor me.
I can't give that advice and then also not do it myself.
Hey, and I mean, there are complexities. Yeah. We can't, you know, it can't always be totally black and white because, you know, if you do know the other person, you know the other person just doesn't have capacity or whatever, you know, respecting those boundaries and stuff. But I would encourage, like, if someone is like engaged and they're feeling like, I do feel engaged in my spiritual walk, just make yourself available for people who are not. Yeah. And like, make yourself available to disciple people that need to learn to get there. And whatever way that looks like, I don't know all the ways of how that looks to make yourself available, but whether it's communicating in your small group or communicating in your Bible study or communicating to your friends or whoever you're connected with at the church, like, hey, if anyone needs help with creating rhythms of prayer in their life, like I would love to meet with you for coffee or something, just put it out there so that people know that you're available, that when they do find themselves, that they can reach out. And, we want the podcast to encourage those who are disconnected and disengaged, but we also want to encourage those who are engaged, because we're all, we're a one body.
Yeah.
And so, as Paul says, if one is suffering, all suffer.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to be there for each other, pull each other up, be connected with one another, so that we close that gap.
Yeah.
And we're just making it work.
Yeah. And as we wrap up today too, I was thinking earlier, I want to, let us know like what topics
for
you want to hear about.
Yes.
We probably can't get like Tim Tebow.
No.
But if there's like, people you want to hear from,
that'd be crazy. I mean, hey,
you think it's in our wheelhouse? You can ask.
Tim Tebow might not be in our wheelhouse.
Tim Tebow probably not.
But John Stumbo
Maybe.
John Stumbo might.
And also, Detroit Lakes is a hub in the summer.
Hey,
maybe Tim Tebow comes.
Maybe he will.
I don't know.
Or maybe some other people.
Maybe some.
I don't know. Forrest Frank. Forrest on here.
Right. Hey, I've got actual dreams that I'll tell you on because
I feel like there's some other creators that they may respond. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Who knows?
If the engagement of the podcast is up, then maybe. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways, point is, leave stuff.
Let us know.
Tell us. Let us know. Yeah. We'd love to hear kind of what you're wanting to hear about.
Yeah.
As we talk about this stuff. So. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for tuning in for part 2. And look forward to the next episode.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.